iPhone 12 mini. This phone comes in right around $699 as of right now, as the recording of this video. This one, iPhone 11, $599. But the question I want answered here is which one is going to be the better pick for you if you're deciding between these two? Now, we'll begin with the key spec differences. The iPhone 12 mini does feature a 5.4-inch OLED display, so that's a nice improvement over the 11 and the 10R. On the back, we do have a 12 megapixel dual camera setup here. Both are 12 megapixels, and you do have 4K 60p recording like the 11, but you also have HDR in 4K 30, so that's pretty nice. 4 gigs of RAM in here. The Apple A14 5nm chipset, amazing chip overall. We do have a 2227 milliamp hour battery on board, so it's going to give you a little bit smaller battery, but those are kind of the key specs that matter. For the iPhone 11 here, we are talking about a 6.1-inch liquid retina display that's of the LCD caliber, so it's not quite as vibrant. On this phone, you do have a 12 megapixel dual camera on the rear, capable up to 4K 60p as well, but no HDR on this one. An Apple A13 is housed within this body. In addition to that, you do have 4 gigs of RAM on board for the iPhone 11 and a 3110 milliamp hour battery. So the key specifications, there's no real clear winner here. It really comes down to what you value more, because if you buy the iPhone 11, you get a bigger size display, and over here you get a smaller display. But if you value that, you'll get a better phone overall on the iPhone 12 mini. The 12 mini does have OLED, so it's a better quality panel. It does have a faster processor, but keep in mind that the iPhone 11 does have the better battery size and battery life. So from a key spec standpoint, they're kind of half and half. It really depends on what you value. All right, guys, so let's talk about which one is the better overall build quality. So both of them do have aluminum sides. They're just very different in their approach. The left is more squared edges for the iPhone 12 mini here, and over here it's more curved for the iPhone 11. So you really just got to pick, and choose which one you like in terms of that design element. Both of them do have glass backs, so if you drop them without a case, they're probably both going to get some cracks. They feel very similar in the camera setup, and while the lens housing looks pretty nice on both, it looks like it may be slightly bigger for the iPhone 12 mini. Now on the front side, you'll notice a difference in that the iPhone 12 mini does have a ceramic shield on the glass, so it's a 4 times stronger than the one on the iPhone 11. But if you're putting a screen protector on, you're probably not going to care about that either. In terms of the overall weight though, with these builds, a lot lighter here, 134 grams around there. This one definitely up there over 180. So this one's definitely a lot more hefty in the iPhone 11. Really, I think the iPhone 12 mini has a slightly better build just because it does have that ceramic glass, but it's very slight. I mean, I wouldn't pick these based on that. They're both going to be very durable phones. Now, which one is better when it comes to the looks? And for that one, I would have to say the iPhone 12 mini. I just think it's a lot sleeker looking, very thin and very light. It kind of is reminiscent of the iPhone SE, which one of the better looking iPhones ever. So definitely the iPhone 11, while definitely a really good looking phone, I do think it is edged out by the iPhone 12 mini. So if you're looking for the better looking device, I would probably say the 12 series is the better looking device there, but that is again subjective, so we can't actually give it the win there. But still, I personally think the 12 mini does look better. Now, when it comes to the display elements of these phones, we do have, the OLED display on board. This thing gets 625 nits, so it's not going to get brighter than that of the iPhone 11 for sure. The iPhone 11 still had the 625 nits on here, so this was also very bright. Now, both of these do have a haptic press with dark mode, night shift, true tone, but it's not as fast as it used to be on those 3D touches. I would say that the way they tuned this OLED on the mini is not overly impressive, meaning that you're not going to look at this and be like super impressed with its vibrancy like you would on a Samsung phone. It actually doesn't look that much different side by side to an iPhone 11. But you will notice that it does have deeper blacks when you are, opening up applications that use black, in the background. So you'll see a little bit less of a truer to life black color for the iPhone 11. It'll look a little bit more grayish. But other than that, the iPhone 11 also has much lower resolution. So this one is closer, much sharper, at over 400 ppi. So this one definitely, you can notice that it's a little bit pixely compared to something like the iPhone 12 mini, but you really have to dig to see it. It's not that noticeable. It's still Retina on both of them. I would say that if you're picking one of these purely on display quality, the iPhone 12 mini is an absolute winner. It beats out the iPhone 11. From a size perspective, the iPhone 11 is giving you more size, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so when talking about software between both of these devices right here, you can see that it's the same experience. I don't even want to talk much more. That's it. It's the same experience. We have iOS 14 on both. We have the app library. Widgets are nice on both. The cameras operate essentially the same now. Swipe up, you have these awesome modes here. I mean, there is literally no difference in the feel between these phones. Maybe if you go in the camera setting, because this phone is a newer device, you do have, you know, some of these newer features in video, like you could turn on HDR video, turn it off. You can't do that for the 11, but that's down to the hardware, so they had to implement that software feature. These phones operate identical in software, so they're an absolute tie in that respect. Now, which one has the better performance? Now, I did the iPhone 12 mini versus the SE with the A13, and the SE kept up very easily with this device here in the iPhone 12 mini. So what I gotta say is that the 12 mini is definitely a boss. It's definitely the faster phone, and I have to give it the win here because it does have the technically faster CPU. But I will say that the iPhone 11 is definitely no slouch. The A13 is so fast that it will still last you the duration of your ownership of this phone for the next several years to come. So the A13, while it isn't, you know, as fast as the A14, it definitely doesn't have any issues doing your daily tasks, and it's still faster than Android phones that are coming out next year with the Snapdragon 888. So this phone right here, definitely no real issues. I mean, the only thing I would complain about in terms of both of these phones is that they don't have a 90 hertz or a 120 hertz displays. Android phones are ahead in that technology, although Apple maybe wants to keep the battery life good until they can figure out how to implement that when still have good battery life. But overall, both of them perform at a pretty similar level. You might notice maybe slightly snappier going between applications when multitasking on the 12 mini, but it's pretty much a wash. It's pretty similar in the performance element as well. Another area where these phones just totally tie is the storage department. So they do come with 64. This is the 128 gig mini, 128 and 256. So they cap out there. Those are still pretty good storage offerings, but you do have to pay quite a bit more when you start getting up in those higher storage tiers. So the 12 mini 128 is a bit more, and same goes for the 11 as you go up in the storage department. So definitely pretty similar in that respect. Okay guys, so let's talk about their cameras, because there are some small differences. We're gonna use the Apple Watch Series 6 for a sample device here to take a photo of. Now, both of these phones are gonna perform exceptionally well in terms of their overall performance. They both do have ultra wide angle cameras here, but there's one slight difference between both of them. This one does have an f1.6 lens here on the main sensor. In addition, if you go to the 4K 30, you will get this really beautiful, colorful video here. So I think the 12 mini has the 11 beat for those reasons. So you'll get a little bit more depth of field because it has that f1.6, and you will also get the ultra wide here, but you'll get a little bit better video as well. But if you're like, I don't care about no HDR video, I'm not trying to edit that stuff, then the iPhone 11 is still exceptional quality as well. Now on the front facing camera, they're pretty much the same. I mean, maybe even identical here. Both 12 megapixels on the front here, both at a f2.2 on the front here. Very similar, if not identical. So no real changes to the front cameras, but just a little bit better video, and just a little bit, probably you're gonna get a little bit more blur in the background on your portraits and photos for the iPhone 12 mini if you do want that stuff. So I would say the 12 mini gets the win here in camera, but only very slightly overall. But definitely the 11, if you're looking for a good value, this camera is still such a boss. I'm just super happy to report that. So if you're questioning, how am I going to get better battery life on a 12 mini with a smaller, size? And you're definitely not. You're going to pay more, and you're going to get less battery life. This one just has a physically smaller battery at 2227. It's not impressive. I know people have a 12 mini, get a little offended by that and say, you know what, I get through the day, Nick. Don't listen to this guy. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm not saying that a user like you cannot get through the day. What I'm saying is that when you compare it, if we do a side-by-side comparison, we drain these batteries, the 11 will outlast this mini. And when we're talking about which to purchase, we have to mention these facts right here. We got to lay them down. 3110, the 11 impressed me. This phone, in my same usage, using the camera a lot, doing some heavy usage stuff with this, I was on the charger more with this one. Still, for its size, it still is decent. It can still go through the day. And one area that they're basically the same, I didn't notice a major difference, is the stereo speakers. Even for a smaller body that has speaker up here, it's speaker in the bottom, the 12 mini sounded almost identical to that of the 11. So you're gonna have a great audio experience. But here is where the mini gets a win here, is the 5G. So this one does have 5G performance, and it depends on the carrier. You'll have better depending on where you're at as well if you're actually pulling in 5G. But even the 4G LTE connectivity was better and faster on this phone. The iPhone 11 had worse overall connectivity when it comes to 4G LTE, and just the overall, reception quality. I just found it to not be as strong as the signal you get with the Qualcomm version of the 12 mini. So that element is just better. It's just more reliable for the 12 series in general, and the 12 mini is no exception, so it wins it out there. And let's declare ourselves a winner. Look at all the smudges on the back of the 12 mini. This phone is definitely a smudge magnet in the black one, but which is the better phone? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, from a technical standpoint, the 12 mini is the better pick, and you might have been able to guess that before the video, but it was a lot tighter than you might have thought. The 11 does have a lot of advantage of still picking this phone up. A great size for this phone, a great battery life, a great price now for this phone, and darn near the same exact camera quality. So you have to keep in mind the 11 is no slouch, even though this 12 mini came in. And if you were coming here thinking this 12 mini just gonna demolish the 11, you would have been wrong. But if you were to pick one based on purely a technically better phone, which is better, the 12 mini is the better phone. But keep in mind, if you're looking for more value, the 11 should be something on your radar. However, it does matter how much you care about 5G, because if you care about 5G in the future of fast internet performance on your mobile, this is a hard recommendation for any 4G phone now that 5G phones are out. So that's it for me. iPhone 12 mini versus iPhone 11. Did you do this upgrade? Did you have an 11, got a 12 mini, or did you pick one of these over the other? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up. It really does help us out, and I really appreciate it. I'll catch you all in the next episode. Be sure to be well, and peace.